everyone, my name's Ali and welcome back to my channel, Mindful Living. So today on my channel, I'm going to quickly be giving you all a week-by-week update on how my tomato plant has been growing this season, along with a harvest at the end of the video as well. So stick around for that. If you missed my first video planting this, be sure to go back and check that out on my channel as well. I showed you guys step by step how to transplant your seedling into its container, along with tips on how to grow as well. I started this plant from seed indoors back in May, so let's go ahead and get started by showing you all how this grew. Okay, so this is about a week or so of growth. As you guys can see, my seedling has really stretched out into its container and has lots of new growth in the middle. And this is another week later. It's getting quite tall and bushy at this point. I did make sure to mulch around my tomato plant to retain the moisture in my container, which you guys can see there. And here we have another week later. As you guys can see in the middle of the plant, there is lots of little buds popping up. These are going to turn into flowers, which will become the tomatoes. And one tip you want to make sure with your tomato plant, which I'm showing you here, is you want to remove what is called the suckers. These grow on the joints of the plant like this, and they will actually take away from your plant and its growth. So you want to make sure to pluck any of those that are growing. And I did actually do a second tomato plant in this little container, which I'm showing you here. I just wanted to kind of compare the difference between the two size containers. So far, the little one is doing well, but it's definitely behind and slower than the larger size container. Here I have another week or so later. You guys can see I have tons of little blossoms popping up, and my first tomato here. Lots of little blossoms that have dropped their flowers, and some that are still opening up. I've counted about 20 tomatoes on this plant so far. And here we are another week later. You guys can see I have basically all of my blossoms dropped and turned into tomatoes. They're small right now and they're just getting larger. I still have a few blossoms up here that are growing as well. So here is another week later. You guys can see that the tomatoes are getting a lot bigger, more plump and round. Pretty much just a waiting game at this point. Every day I come out and check on them, make sure that the soil is moist. You never want to let your tomato soil dry out. Tomatoes are quite a juicy fruit, so you want to make sure to always have lots of water for your plant. Always do the 2-finger test to make sure that you are watering it properly. And here I'm showing the small plant again. As you guys can see, it is still doing really well. Not as much tomatoes growing on it, but definitely is doing well. And here I have another week later. My tomatoes are pretty big at this point, and you guys can see here I have my first few that are ripening, which is so exciting. As my tomatoes have been ripening, I make sure to pluck them right away because this will encourage the plant to keep growing and keep producing more tomatoes. It will also cause your other tomatoes to ripen faster, so as soon as those are turning red, you want to pluck them right off. They taste so sweet when they are ripened on the vine like this as well. It doesn't compare to any tomato that you're gonna get in the supermarket. The flavor of homegrown tomatoes is just something else, and you need to try it for yourself. At this point, I have quite a bit of my tomatoes ripening. They're not quite done yet. You want to make sure that they're ripened all the way around the tomato, not just one side. It will affect the taste of them, so you want to make sure that they are a nice bright red color when you're plucking them off. Once I did start plucking a few of mine, like I said, look at all the new growth happening on the smaller ones. I have a lot more little tomatoes popping up. And here's my little gardening partner, my dog Ginger. Hi Ginger. She loves coming outside with me to check on the plants, of course. Been very interested in the smell of the tomatoes as they've ripened. And now I'm just gonna harvest all these ones that are ready. Whoops, I dropped that one there. It's hard to do with a camera in one hand and a tomato in the other. But yeah, I have about 10 tomatoes here that are ready and ripe, so I'm gonna go ahead and harvest all of those. Just showing you guys how big they are. They got a lot bigger than I thought. This variety of tomato was quite small in the picture on the package, and mine have actually gotten quite large, and they are so juicy and so flavorful. Here is the smaller tomato plant again. As you guys can see, I've got quite a lot of growth on it, lots of tomatoes. I was quite surprised with how many actually grew on the smaller tomato plant in comparison to the big one. They almost grew the same amount, but the second batch of tomatoes coming in on the big one is a lot more, as you guys can see there. I have another, I would say, 20 tomatoes growing, so after I harvest all of these I'm showing you guys today, I definitely have about 20 or more to harvest by the end of summer. There's so many things you can do with tomatoes, from salsa to tomato sauce, to just slicing it up and putting it in a salad, a sandwich. I personally just love eating the tomatoes sliced up with some salt and pepper. Like I said, they are so sweet because they are vine ripened and they taste like nothing else. Organic, fresh, you know exactly where your produce has come from because you grew it yourself. There's no better feeling than that. And here I'm just gonna harvest the little one. There's about, I would say, 6 on this one that are ready. And they've actually gotten quite large on the smaller plant. I was thinking the tomatoes might grow in smaller because there's a lot less room for its roots, but like I said, I've been actually pleasantly surprised with how big and how many tomatoes I have gotten off my second plant. Just harvesting the last couple in the back here. Lots more growing still, like I said. Lots more that will be getting bigger and ripening in the next couple weeks. And yeah, here's my harvest from today. I got about 12 tomatoes. Definitely going to be enjoying all of these over the next couple days. I'm going to quickly show you what they look like inside. I'm going to slice one of these tomatoes here. Bear with me with my slice as I'm doing it with one hand. But look at that tomato. It is absolutely perfect inside and it tastes even better. Well, I hope if you guys enjoyed this tomato update video, you will leave me a like, a comment, or subscribe to my channel. As always, stay tuned for the next update coming in my small space garden series. Thanks for watching!